Oh, hey guys. Let's make some corrections to the electricity that we've been working on. So, I've been working on this wiggly string, and this string is supposed to represent the electricity that we see here that I did the design for in previous tutorials. So the string has a wavy feeling to it that I really like. And what I've done is I've actually tried recording a couple more tutorials where I fully animate this whole thing. You can see down here on my timeline I've got quite a few keyframes in there. And this is the fruits of my labors over the course of 3 tutorials, and it took me 3 more to realize that I don't like the direction this is going in at all. There's maybe some things about it that I like, but really for the most part I'm going to have to trash a lot of this work. So rather than just re-record the tutorial, I wanted to take a minute to show you guys what I came up with, why I don't like it, and how I plan to improve it. Because I know a lot of you guys, oftentimes you're working and you're like, shoot, it doesn't look like the tutorial, it looks bad, how do I fix it? So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about how you can fix it and kind of give some feedback on this animation, and maybe you can find some similar things in yours. So the first step was to create this string, and I think at this stage I was doing pretty good. I don't think there's anything really wrong with it. There's some nice variation in it. It's not just a boring wave that moves down. It has some life to it and some character and variation in the frequency of the waves. So then I came through and I drew another set of lines over the accented parts. If I zoom in here, you can see I kind of indicated where these other little stringy bits would go with what you see here as the pink line. And then I went ahead and I animated that as well. And the pink one moves a lot more erratically. The goal of the pink one was to make it feel less like a fluid wave and more like erratic and random electricity. That was the goal. And so we got this kind of motion here. And then I went through and I animated the actual electricity for both of them. I'll show this guy first. So here's the center green part, animating like so. And if we guide out this layer, you can see how that's moving. Now, I should have known at this stage, when I started animating the core line, that something was wrong. The waving motion itself is not that bad. I would say that the origin here doesn't feel like it's a source of energy, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's emitting out anything electrical. It just feels like a string is like attached at the top, and then it's just kind of blowing in the wind. And I mean, what else would you expect? That's what we literally animated, right? We animated the string waving back and forth. I think I didn't go wrong at the string phase. I think I went wrong when I started cleaning it up here, because I could have drawn in extra accents, and I will draw in extra accents to make it look like it's coming from an energy source at the tip. The core itself, I think, is actually pretty good. It's got some spots like right here where it's sticking, almost like it's sticking to an electrical static field, and that's kind of nice. When you're working with electricity, it's nice to have parts that stick and parts that wave. It's got some nice flow and motion to it all the way down until we get to the tip. When you think of the tip of this bolt, again, you got to think of how it's interacting with whatever it's touching, right? Here, it's a sharp point, and it's sliding back and forth across the surface. I really need to come up with something more creative than that, to make it feel like it's impacting and exploding up off of the ground. Here, it's just, tickling the ground like a feather waving back and forth. Doesn't really feel like energy, and it doesn't really feel at all how the original sketch did, where it feels here like there's energy thrusting up off of the ground, and I'm not getting that at all by waving the string back and forth. So there's a lot of things I could have caught there. Now if I go in here and I show the accented frames, they're not as in-between as the core one, because this is where I really started catching my mistakes. And I didn't see any point in going any further. Yeah, so we go in here, and this is where I was trying to get that electrical staticky feel going on. And there's some places where, I mean, to help illustrate this, I'll unguide the stringy layer. So you can see with the strings, it actually feels a little better. And you know, maybe there's something to that, right? Like maybe I should make my strings a lot longer to begin with. And that could save it, I think. That could save a lot of the secondary motion. But you see down here, again, there's a big problem area where I wasn't really confident in what I could do. It doesn't feel like it's exploding up at all. I kind of shut off my brain when I was in betweening it. And like the two sides, the only thing I like is that the two sides are coming up at alternating times. So they're not like going up and up and up like this and twinning. That's nice, but how they're coming up, it looks bad. It doesn't look good at all. I mean, this guy's like juggling something here, and this guy's like spitting off a little thing, and it just doesn't work. I do like how this is moving in and out here. I want more stuff like that, where it's kind of this creative motion, right? This little segment has a nice wobble to it. And there is something about this waving erratic string, but some of these shapes, like especially this shape here, it's just kind of distracting, especially when you have a looping animation. Having a really sharply contrasted shape that doesn't look like any other shapes near it, it's going to catch your eye because it's going to loop over and over again, especially if it's only 16 frames. And you really want your shapes to kind of harmonize together a little better than that. Turn off the green here again. And so you can see there that overall the motion just isn't working, and this needs to change. I gotta go back in and fix a bunch of stuff. So in the following tutorials, I'm gonna kind of deconstruct this guy. Oh yeah, this guy here is just really bad. Just waving around and stuff. He was a part of something cooler, I think. I'm gonna have to take some time and strategize and think about what I want to do, what I want to keep, what I want to toss. I know for sure that most of what's going on down here, it's out of there. I got to toss it. And then I know for sure I'm going to have to add something significant up here. And I'm going to have to find a way to get the center parts of the accents looking good with better shapes and better motion. The core, in and of itself, I actually like the waving motion through the core. I'm going to keep that. It's probably the one major thing that I think I did right that I want to keep. So there's a deconstruction and a feedback review on this effect. Hope you got some good insights, and I hope you learned something.